check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
All right, found an 06 F-150 right here. So it looks like I've only got two trucks as my options. I got this window, which is in really great shape. It's not tinted though, and it's one piece. I have a power slide out of my Lariat right now, but I'm just gonna have to go with the one solid glass. So this is my option on this truck, or there's one other. And my only other option is this one here. It's already got a light tint on it. So, and the seat's already moved, the paneling's already moved. This can be a lot easier to take out. All right, I'm gonna go with this one, I think. All right, let's take this out. All right, so there's a couple of nuts. Well, not a couple. There's about a dozen bolts and nuts that run around this window. You just gotta pull the headliner down, remove these side panels enough to where you can get to these nuts. 8mm. Let's do it. I lied. 9mm. Alright, so I'm just taking a flathead screwdriver, and where all those nuts tied in, I'm just kind of prying it away. So it's double-sided tape, so slowly pry that away from the body, and then you better grab it from behind.
All right, got it. Time to go home.
Okay, here's my 2004 F-150 Lariat. Got it wrapped in 3M Ocean Shimmer vinyl. Got 33-inch Toyo all-terrains. And I've got 17-inch Ultra Motorsports bronze rims. So, as you can see, this is the window that I had busted out by sliding a kayak in. It slid straight in and hit the window right here and just shattered the whole thing. So, I luckily had some taillight tint left over from another job I did for somebody else's taillight, so I layered that over top of the window just temporarily to seal it up and kind of make it look a little bit prettier for what it was. Alright, so the only difference between my window, which I have this black seal that goes all the way around it, and this window out of that junkyard truck did not have that thick rubber seal, so I guess we'll just start prying away at this and see what I can get. And hopefully it all works out in the end. Alright, so in order to get this window in, you're going to have to take this seat up, this back rest off. So if you look on the outer edges of the seat, you got these buttons here, and you got these brackets. There's one on this end and one on that end. What you're going to want to do is take a long flathead screwdriver, and just on the right side of that bracket, you'll push in and you'll push in a little bit, angle your screwdriver up and push in, and you'll feel it drop through a little opening in a metal bracket. And then you just push like hell towards the back of the truck, and you'll kind of hear a little click. And what that's doing is it's releasing a latch that is holding this back seat to a bar that runs left to right. Once you feel that little click, then you take your other hand, your left hand, and just pull up on this seat and pull it forward a little bit, and then let go and move to the other side. Once you get that side done, take this whole thing and just flip it forward, and then you'll have access to all the nuts that you need to loosen here in order to get this window out. All right, so before you take the backrest off, you're gonna have to get a screwdriver, pop this cap off. You're gonna see these 10 millimeter nuts. You're gonna want to take this off.
Try not to drop these anywhere. I'm gonna need them again, obviously. You can see my broken window. Look at that. Whew. Lesson learned. So take this guy off.
And then lift up. You're gonna see these clips right here. Hopefully the camera's picking this up. You can see these clips. You got 3 of them, and they run right over these lips right here. So you have to lift up and then pull forward, and this thing will come down. Alright. So that can lay down like that, and then you can pull this cover down and get access to all your nuts right here. Alright, so there's 14 nuts that go all the way around this window, equally spaced out. Bottom ones are easy to access. You got one right behind this metal latch, which is permanently attached, so you won't be able to use a socket ratchet wrench. You'll just have to use the old monkey wrench here, or the open end wrench, I'm sorry. Usually just give these a couple turns, and then they'll come the rest of the way off with your finger. So just be careful you don't drop them. When I was at the junkyard, I kept every single nut that I took off just in case I lost one. So this is going to be your toughest one on the bottom. Come on. Good grief. Alright. So that's your toughest one. The other ones, go ahead and get your other wrench, just go to town on those. Alright, so then the side here, you'll have to take this little plastic clip out with a flathead screwdriver, and then it's just one of those ribbed clips, and then you'll be able to pull this back just enough to use this style wrench and loosen the 2 nuts that are there. Same for the other side. And then up here you've got another 4 or 5 up here, and you'll do the same thing. Remove these 2 clips, to the ribbed clips, pull them out, and gently pull this headliner down, and you'll have access right behind there to the few nuts. Once you got all those out, you want to just kind of slowly take a flathead screwdriver and get in between the metal here and the bracket, or I'm sorry, this little bump out where the nut is attached. Get a flathead screwdriver and just carefully, gently start prying this thing away from the car or the truck. And then once you see it, starting to break loose, then you can go around the outside and start pulling it out the rest of the way, and then remove it from the truck, clean up all your surfaces, and then we'll go from there. All right, so I was wrong. On the other truck, it seemed that way, but these caps right here, they're just this style. Just gives you access to another bolt right here that you want to remove in order to be able to pull this down. So I'm going to do that now. Alright, so here's that bolt that I just pulled out of that hole right there. That's a 10 millimeter. So you pull that out, and that'll free up a little bit of space right here, and you can pop there's a couple clips here, and you just pop them forward a little bit, and you'll have enough access to reach those nuts right there. There's 2. top and bottom. Alright, so what I decided to do differently, instead of trying to pry this plastic, it's tough to get your fingers back there to take that nut off. I just got a star socket here, and I'm just going to take the seatbelt off. That way I can pull this panel back with ease. It's going to make my life easier. So just one extra step, but it's going to be a lot easier.
So just let that hang there.
Alright, so now I can get better access to right there to those nuts. So I would suggest removing the seatbelt. It's not that much more work. All right, so one additional thing I'm gonna mention in case you've got a power slide window like me is you're gonna obviously want to get access to the motor down here. So there's a couple of these black clips. Just pull those out, and then that'll free up enough slack that you can pull these off of these straps right here, and gives you access to the motor. And these are 8mm bolts right here. So take this out and the whole motor unit will come out as one. And we'll probably want to do the same thing over here to get access to this cable here. And then the cable runs up here into this little mechanism that slides the window and pulls it left and right. So we're just going to eliminate that totally, unfortunately, but that's okay. Getting a pretty cheap window. Alright, so I got the motor unbolted from the truck, got the cable pulled out here. Right now, got this other unit right here. So what you're going to want to do, because the cable's fed behind this unit, behind these wires, these plugs, I don't really want to unplug those because I don't want to deal with any other issues today. So I'm just going to unbolt this from here, that way I can get this cable released from behind there. Alright, so now this can pull away. You can raise this cable back up over from behind that, and then just go ahead and reinstall this. And then the last thing you're going to want to do is take the same star socket here, remove these. This should pull forward just enough to pull that cable up from behind there. Now if you have a manual window or a window that's one solid piece, you're not going to have to worry about any of this stuff when removing the old window. But I just wanted to show you this just in case.
I will never, ever throw more than 2 kayaks in the bed of my truck, ever again. All this damn work I gotta go through, because I rushed throwing kayaks in my truck. Oh man, never again. There we go. Yeah.
Don't hit your hands on the metal.
Oh, this is uncomfortable.
This is actually very sharp metal right here. So I'd suggest wearing gloves, because I just skinned up my knuckle just right there. So now, pull that forward, and you can remove this cable. Now if you want to go the easy route and you don't care about saving this, you can always just cut this cable, and then you don't have to take this stuff apart. But I thought it might be kind of cool to keep this motor, just keep it in a drawer somewhere in case one day I come up with an idea for something, and now I've got a sliding motor for some other stupid project. So I'm going to keep mine, so that's why I'm not cutting it. I'm going this extra route, but that is your own choice. And just put them back in.
Yeah, these headliner clips are ridiculous. Come on. Wow. Phew. That was insane. Oh my god.
Alright, I got all my nuts out around my window, so I'm ready to pry this window out of here. So since I'm going to keep this temporarily until I decide if it's trash or if I'm going to reuse it, I want to leave that clip and harness right there, so I'm just going to cut these. And then I'll just take this much. That way I have wires to connect to whatever I decide to connect to again. And then these will be fine like that. So now I can just start taking my flathead screwdriver right in these areas. Just start slowly prying these out. You just want to break that rubber seal adhesive weather stripping that's down in there. So just do little bits at a time around each mounting point until that window finally starts to pull away from there a little bit, and then you can go on the outside and then start doing the same thing. Just grab it and it'll eventually break this sticky seal, and just pull the motor out with it, and that's it. Then you can work on the new one.
Your days are done, window. Time to go outside.
Alright, now we're on the outside. This should just start pulling the whole way out. Ew. Ooh, spiders. That's comforting. Oh yeah. Grab your motor. It's all gonna come out as one piece. There it is. Boom. She's done. God bless America. Old window's out. I got the new window here that I'm gonna put in, and I gotta get all this sealant out. So I'm trying to heat it up to make it a little bit easier to remove. So basically just heat this up with a heat gun or a torch, and then you can just take a flathead screwdriver or one of these plastic tools, and you can come in here and just start removing all of this, and then you'll have to lay down new stuff afterwards.
Year. So heating this stuff up significantly, or works significantly better than not heating it up. It almost makes it sticky again, so this is where I'll be for an hour and a half. And I gotta clean that edge up there too. Yay! Woohoo!
So removing this rubber seal really sucks, but if you get some of it off to begin with, you get like this booger, and you can just use it to stick down, and it peels all the loose little pieces up a lot easier than just digging at it with your finger. So I recruited help. She hates it. She'd rather be sitting inside chilling right now. And I'm moving on to the truck surface. This one's coming off pretty easy. I'm just using this plastic tool and just scraping away at it. So you just gotta get this surface really clean and get the surface of the new window really clean. Lay down the new foam water sealant tape, and then push this thing into place. Tighten all the nuts down on the inside, and that's it.
Technically, wifey, this is your fault, because you were drunk coming in from kayaking, and we were rushing to get out of the way of everybody. So, it's your punishment, I suppose.
Alright, so now I'm putting in a new seal. I honestly, I have a feeling this probably isn't the right kind of seal to use, but it's all I could find at the auto parts stores. It says it's made for windows, so we'll see. But it's the perfect width for this little channel. Fits right in there, so I'm just gonna go around this whole entire window here. So I knew I was probably going to have some kind of seam, so I decided to make sure that seam was on the bottom rather than the top, just to prevent any chance of leaking. It's a little tough to get conform around this bend here. Probably without that paper it would be easier. Yep, almost made it. So if you can find a roll that's about 15 foot of this stuff, then you'll have plenty. It's weather strip tape. It seals out weather and dust, stops leaks in doors, windows, trunks, and hoods. So, hopefully it's what I need. These holes up. Alright. Okay, so I got a new family. This is me before all my hair fell out. This is Heather, and this is our creepy haunted doll daughter. Alright, so I'm back in the truck now. Got my seal put on there. Let's start getting some of these nuts on these studs here. That way it doesn't fall out. And since I'm running out of daylight, all I'm worried about right now is just getting this back in and tightened down, and then I'll put all these interior panels back together tomorrow morning when I got some better lighting. So, alright, so anyways, we'll just reverse the process to get this all put back together. I need to show everybody the whole reassembling of all this stuff. If you have a couple brain cells, I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence or waste my time here, so you just put these nuts on, grab your wrench, and just snug them down good. You don't want to crank down on these and torque them down too much, because you don't want to put any stress on any of these. That's the wrong one. And that's the wrong one. So you don't want to put too much stress on any of these, so you don't want to torque these down or anything. Just snug them up with a wrench and that's good to go. Alright, so it's the next morning. And I just want to come out and get a quick little clip of the window. It's raining out this morning, so this is going to be a good test to see if it's sealed up right. But it's pretty good to go. I got a third brake light coming in about 2 days to replace my old one, because once I got up there, I got a closer look and realized that my brake light had a couple cracks in it and it had some moisture built up. So I'm going to replace that. But so that's it. So if you don't want to spend $200+ on a rear window, or if you go through your insurance, you may have to pay like a $500 deductible. If you want to avoid all that, check out your local junkyard. You can pull these windows for yourself. Now you know how to do it. Cost me $40 for the window after tax and their little junkyard fee, whatever that is. Then it cost me $11.99 per roll of the sealant tape. I got 2 rolls. I only needed about 1 1/4 of those, so that was another, let's say, another $20. So under $75, I got a brand new window and did it all myself. So save yourself some money, do your work yourself if you're able to, and until the next one, see ya.